Good morning. It's Tuesday morning. It's Mission Tuesday. And last week we agreed that ground zero for missions is the family, our families. That's where missions begin. And ground zero for missions are the Ten Commandments. And we come to the first of those this morning, where God says, "You shall have no other gods before me, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God." Jealousy. Bad, right? It's a bad sin. It isn't one of the Catholic 7 deadly sins, sins which were chosen in their theology because they lead to further sins. However, greed and lust are 2 of the 7 deadly sins. And if you add those together, they equal jealousy. In the Bible, you need to go no further than King David, who was jealous of Uriah the Hittite because Uriah had something that he did not, and that was a beautiful wife named Bathsheba. And so that jealousy led him to 2 further sins. First, to commit adultery with Bathsheba, and then second, to take the life of Uriah, her husband. So jealousy is a very bad thing, unless it's divine jealousy. I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, God says when giving the commandment to worship no other gods, have no other gods before me. Well, it did not take Israel long to break that first commandment, because while Moses was still up on the mountain receiving the 10 commandments, they became impatient and needed a God to worship. And so Aaron, while Moses was up receiving the law, collected all of the jewelry, melted it down, and fashioned a golden calf for them to worship. Jealousy, bad, and it leads to further sins. Divine jealousy, the jealousy that God has for us, is a righteous act designed to protect us from sin. Now, in the Bible, you consider jealousy and idols and idolatry, and you see statues like the golden calf that were made of gold and silver and bronze. Another example is of Daniel and his 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who were commanded by the king Nebuchadnezzar to bow down to the statue that he erected, and they refused. God does not want us to substitute anyone or anything for himself. Now, we don't typically in our Western culture put up statues to worship. That's more of an Eastern thing, although there was someone in our Bible study group who noticed that across the street from them there was a little Buddha on the lawn of the neighbor. So there are still statues, but usually in our culture we're talking here about substituting other things, other people for the worship of God. And so money, wealth, power, fame, those are the kinds of things that get in the way. How easily distracted we are by those things, the things of this world that get in the way, that are substituted for the worship of God. Psalm 96:5 reminds us that all the nations, the idols of all the nations, they're just that, they're idols. But the Lord made the heavens. And that's the difference between the worship of the true God, the only God who made everything else, who made all of the things and all of the people that sometimes we put in his place, we substitute. So God loves us. He wants us to worship him alone. He's a jealous God. That's a divine jealousy, and it's a good thing because he values us. He values our faithfulness, and he wants us not to be distracted from worshiping him and following him. So today, worship the true and the living God, and don't allow anything to distract you. Have a wonderful Tuesday.